Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant. Today we are at the next topic, that is calculation training, and we are going to take this endgame position for doing so. Not only that, this position also will teach us several important queen versus pawn on 7th rank cases, as we will soon see. It's white to play, white is 2 pawns down, but as we can see, queen takes c7 is coming with the check, and it looks like white may take the pawn on b7 as well. But after qc7 check, king d3, if qb7, then the black pawn can also advance. So white decided to calculate first in the line queen takes c3. See, whenever there is race of pawns, both are having pawns on the same rank, and the move will be white's first after king takes c3. So the white pawn starts first. So that makes white see into that line first. So after queen c7, kd3, queen c3, kc3, f5, a4, f6, a3, f7, a2, we see that f8 queens and a1 also queens, but after a1 queen we can see that there is queen f6, g7 or h8, and the queen on a1 is lost. Let's look at that variation. Queen c7, kd3, qc3 check, king c3, f5, a4, f6, a3, f7, a2, f8 queens, and now see, if a1 queen, then it's a blunder outright, because after qf6 check it's a skewer and the queen would be lost. But there are few tricky cases which we need to look at. Firstly, black can go with the move kb2. This is the first variation. And now see, generally if it's a queen versus pawn on 7th rank, then in order to win for white, white king has to be in the winning zone. Without this b pawn, this game would be drawn. The winning zone is a5 to d5, d5 to e4, e4 to e1. The white king needs to be in that zone. But here, because of the presence of the pawn, what happens? The weaker side mostly suffers if he has extra pawns, because that is one of the weaknesses. The weak pawns can be attacked in several ways. Here it is a handicap due to some other reason. Let's see. White goes qb4 check, king c2, queen a3, forcing the king to occupy the square in front of the pawn with qb3 check. Now kc1, then a2 is lost, and this is usually the drawing technique. And now when the king tries to come, it's a stalemate. But note that here the presence of black b pawn will not allow it to be a stalemate. So white has the very strong move qc2 here, and when the b pawn moves, then it is qc1 checkmate. So white wins. Black has couple of more tries. He can push the pawns in a different way also. Secondly, after the move f8 queen kb3 also, white has the very strong move queen f6. Whenever the pawn is on 7th rank and the king has not controlled the queening square, then this is a technique. The diagonal is fully blocked by the queen, and then queen settles in front of the a pawn. Here also we can note that the advancing of b pawn will not help. See, queen a1, b4, and the white king marches closer. King a3, ke3, d3. And now this is another position which I wanted to bring to your notice. The point is very simple. Here there are in fact 3 ways to win in this position. Firstly, there is the move C, qc1 check. This is a typical tactical idea, very important position to remember. After b2, there comes queen c3 check, king a4, then queen takes b2. The pawn is lost. Secondly, there is the move C, qd4, very strong, covering all the squares for the king and forcing black to go either a1 when queen a1 pawn is lost, means b2 is forced, and same technique, qc3 check, again b2 is lost, game over. Finally, there is also the move qc3 with same idea, forcing king a4, and now queen b2, and see the pawns are blocked. Eventually the king will come closer and the b pawn will be lost. Let's say kb4, kd4, ka4, kc4. And finally now we will see black can go for other plan as well. Means after the move f5, he can start using both his pawns simultaneously and try to create more dangerous threats. f6, b4, f7, b3, f8 queen. Or either we could have this, or we can have this position. Both ways it's very bad. Then queen c5 check or queen f6 check. When after kb3, Queen A1, and the same situation which we discussed now would arise. There would be A2, KF3, KA3, KE3, B3, and same technique QD4, C1 or C3, and white wins. And after F8 queen, if black plays B2 here, this looks very dangerous, because now see A pawn can't be taken because the B pawn queen. So better option for black is perhaps this, but I must tell you, after QC5, see this is a typical technique. We force him to come in front of the pawn. See, this is the technique. QD4 check, KC2, QC4 check, KD2, QB3, KC1, QC3 check, forcing the king on B1, and then see queen takes A5. The pawn is lost, and against the knight pawn, same technique follows, and the white king comes closer to the pawn and wins the pawn. So we discussed at least 4 to 5 very important theoretical positions also, along with doing calculation training and the study of this instructive endgame, I would say. Do let me know how you are finding these concepts in the comments below. Thanks for your time.